Save the Semantics, episode 66. It is March 24, 2019. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I talk about stuff that I'm very late to talk about. I'm not on point. I'm just late to the topic. I kind of wanted to talk about this last week, but I just couldn't get around to it because I had other stuff that I wanted to discuss. But anyways, just finished up my exams for this quarter. I'm gonna enjoy my spring break while I can. It's gonna rain for the next few days, so that's great. I love that. Right when I'm just about to enjoy the very small break that I do have in between terms, just more rain, more than we really need, to be honest. Like, we're technically out of a drought, and I know that other drought is going to be coming up during the summer and whatnot, but just give it, just for me, just for my own selfish sake, just give me a little break from that type of weather, let me enjoy the sun while it's still out and whatnot. But it's a good feeling, just being able to move past exams, move on to the next set of classes and work-related things, I guess. So it's a nice change of pace, I guess. Small little break. Probably going to be way too short, but I'll enjoy it while I can. The thing that I did want to discuss earlier, I don't necessarily think it's too late, but I am pretty late when it comes to talking about it. But there was the whole college admission scandal that occurred a couple of weeks ago involving relatively well-known celebrities but I don't really know of. Lori McLoughlin was like the main person. I don't know much about her other than she's just kind of like a washed-up actor from the 90s. That's all I really know about her. And so, for those who don't really know, she paid $500,000 more or less to a recruiting agent or the admissions or something like that in order for her daughter to get into USC. Which, I mean, let's just like sort of break it down piece by piece. Although she is, I consider her to be washed up because like I don't really know her, which is probably not that good of like a term. Maybe she's well known in other celebrity circles and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know much about her. I just know that she was in that Full House TV show in the 90s. That was before I was born, so I have no recollection of that at all. And she's trying to get her daughter, who's, assuming she has enough money, the family and whatnot. Like, I feel like, I don't know, is $500,000 worth it to get your daughter into college at that point? Well, if you think about it, like, a lot of students, are already going to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So, I mean, maybe $500,000 isn't a whole lot more, right? A lot of other, like, and this is relatively like a known fact, but like other celebrities and like high paid people, executives and whatnot, they donate money to colleges, which is like an incentive for them to let their children into that university. So I feel it's that's sort of legal bribery, that's legal bribery. And I don't exactly understand why she didn't do that. Maybe she didn't have that kind of money, right? She didn't have the millions of dollars that these other, high-paying company executives and other more A-list celebrities have. They don't have that. She and her family maybe don't have that kind of money to be just giving out and donating to a university, so her daughter could get in. So, that's one reason why she decided to just pay the $500,000 to the recruiters, So I don't know. Like, maybe that's That's one reason. I'm not calling her poor by any means. I doubt she's poor. I mean, she probably will be, or maybe she'll be at least, not as well off when she puts up a couple of houses up for collateral, just because, like, she's got to pay off those lawsuits and whatnot. I don't exactly know what the charges were. Essentially, I know she got posted for $1 million bail bond, which is quite a hefty sum, and she paid it off, or at least some other member of the family paid it off, so she's out and about. But I don't know what other charges they can really pursue on her, right? Like, she's still got to, like, figure out, for one, her reputation is, like, kind of tarnished in a way, right, by other members within that Hollywood circle, I guess. Like, I don't know. I bet a bunch of other Hollywood stars are just looking at her like, what the fuck? You dumbass. We have a system, and you just decided not to go against it because, like, you thought you had a better idea. But no, it just doesn't work. Like, you got to use the legal bribery method where you donate to a school, donate, quote unquote, instead of just straight up paying, part of admissions, that kind of money, right? And how much is $500,000 really? Like, of course it's a lot of money, but is it really that much? Is it worth it? Like, like, I understand I partially understand the motivations for the admissions to accept that money, right? Just in terms of, like, financial reasons, greed and whatnot. But $500,000 is not that much money for such a big scandal, It's like, it's not, maybe they thought they were gonna get away with it, but, like, it's just not something where it's like, it's just, I just feel like it's not worth it, like, even, millions upon millions of dollars and whatnot, it's just not worth it, because you're gonna get caught, right? And, like, I don't know, it's like a drug trade kind of gone wrong, in a sense, right? They were trying to essentially, like, she's the drug dealer, the admissions is the people that are accepting the drug, and her daughter is, like, the cocaine, right? And, like, they're trying to smuggle her in to the school for $500,000, the hush money, but, like, it's just not worth it, They're gonna come after you. IRS, they're a bunch of fuckers, right? They're gonna come after you, and it's not like you can't, like, claim that kind of money on your taxes, obviously, because it's like, you can't do that. It's just gonna be way too obvious. IRS is gonna look into it. It's just like, what is this $500,000 deduction, right, for school-related expenses? Like, nah, like, what the fuck? You can't just do that. It's not even tuition related, because they haven't even paid tuition at that point, right? Tuition comes after the fact that you paid that sum of money just to get your daughter into that school. So, like, for tax related reasons, of course, that, you can't do shit with that. So there's one reason why it's a dumb idea of $500,000. This is coming from the perspective of the actress Lori McLoughlin. So, like, I just don't understand her perspective of giving that money to admissions, right? And going back to, like, the admissions perspective, like, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth $500,000. Like, how long? I mean, that if they're conservative enough, if they're financially conservative enough, maybe they can make that money last for a while. But, like, if you're caught, then you're gonna have to pay the consequences, for one, right? And I don't know. Do they even take into account, like, the effect, like, the reputation it's gonna have on the university as a whole? Like, I just don't understand that, like, mindset. Like, I don't understand, like it's a money, but it's not that much money, right? If it was, like, even if it was like $1 million, right? Like, how, it's like that. It's just paper money. I mean, like, you can't cash a check for that kind of thing. Like, I also wonder, like, how she paid the admissions, the money. Like, I wonder, like, did she, like, did the family, like, just give, like, just, like, paid under the table, like a drug exchange? Like, is that how they paid the money? And then, like, where do they store that money? You know, where did that one? I forgot exactly if it was one person or if it was multiple people. You know, that kind of let it bypass. Like, I don't know. You know, it's just like, and maybe, maybe admissions, people that work in admissions, maybe they just don't get paid enough money. But honestly, like, and they're just like, maybe they feel like they're working a dead end job, and they just feel like they're not getting the compensation they deserve. And once in a lifetime opportunity comes by, they're this relatively formerly well known actress is offering up a large sum of money, the most amount of money that you've ever seen in your life, so she can let her daughter in, right? So you're thinking to yourself like, oh, maybe this is, maybe is this worth it, right? Like, I don't know the mental gymnastics that they had to pull in order to convince themselves to accept that money, but like, maybe it's just like it's just sort of a reactionary thing too, possibly, right? They're like, maybe they just see the money, they're like, okay, all right, let's just consider the benefits, and to them the benefits outweighed the consequences, the negatives, right? Maybe they just felt that $500,000 would cover them for the rest of their life, which now it won't, because now they're gonna have to deal with that shit, right? They didn't really consider the ramifications, the consequences. They're not gonna get away with it because, for one, those people are not like admissions. They're not like, at least like, if you're just some nobody, you're not Lori McLoughlin, which I'm gonna try to dive into like another subject in a second, but like, if you're just some celebrity, or if you're just some, if you're not a celebrity, if you're just like a relatively, if you're just like a working individual, like, you're gonna have to deal with that I feel like you would have to deal with that at such a higher level than these celebrities that have paid to get their children into these universities. Like, because for one, like, your income is going to severely suffer. You're going to get fired from the university unless the university try to cover it up. But like, they're probably just going to fire you anyway, and maybe they'll give you like some severance package. I don't know how that's going to work, but you're still going to have to deal with the fact that you might not be able to get a job anywhere else. Like, where the fuck are you going to work? Maybe you're going to work as like a cashier. Probably not, because then if they look at your records, they're going to see that, oh, you took like a huge sum of money, and you're kind of willing to do whatever it is just for your own financial benefit. You're going to take the money out of the cash register. I don't know. Maybe that's just, I feel like that's like a, justifiable reason not to hire that person, because they've had kind of like a criminal history, right? So, I mean, I don't know. It's just whatever. The thing that I'm surprised by is that the fact that, she's the actress and all these other actors that have done these kinds of scandals. Like, I'm surprised that they actually are getting heat. Like, most of the time, like, these types of people, they don't really, like, I feel like they don't really get away with it, or they do get away with it, and they don't really suffer the consequences. But it seems like they are. So, in a way, like, justice kind of has been served, in a way, right? Like, I think it's good that these kinds of things are coming to light. Like, it doesn't necessarily surprise me, but as a college student, frankly, I'm offended. No, I'm not offended. I just think, like, these types of individuals that are sort of in this upper echelon of money, of income, accumulated wealth, like, of course they're going to try to, they're trying to pave the way for their children to succeed, but it's just not, it takes away other opportunities from people from working class families, middle class families, where members of their family have never even been to college, right? And they don't, like, their child is hardworking. They try to make their college applications look as nice as possible. They do all these volunteer activities, and they take all these AP classes and whatnot, but then some fucking washed up, just this fucking, I don't know, this fucking person just pays $500,000 to get their, to get their kid into school, and then it's like, oh, there's one less spot, I mean, it's not worth it to go to USC anyway. No, I'm kidding. No shade to USC. I don't exactly know. I can't really talk shit about a school that I don't really know that much about. But I'm just saying, like, just go somewhere else. Like, here's another thing, all right? Like, I just don't understand, like, the whole perspective of, like, she has to go to this school in particular. There are so many other options, especially for you people that are up there. You have the money, right? You can pay, like, just go to a state university, right? Like, I get it, like, you want to make your, like, child appear as, like, as dignified as possible. Who gives a fuck, right? She has her own, like, fashion line, her makeup brand, or whatever the fuck, right? Does she even need to go to college? Like, it doesn't really matter. She's already, like, set in a sense. Like, I don't understand this perspective. Like nobody cares if she doesn't go to college, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, the fact that, like, you had to pay that sum of money to get your daughter into a school which she doesn't deserve to go to, like, it just doesn't, like, just follow up on that fucking makeup thing, just fashion line or whatever, right? Just make money off of that. She would make so much more money doing whatever she's already doing as, like, some Instagram model and whatnot, Pay for that fucking, skincare routine or whatnot. Like, instead of pursuing a degree where she's not even going to utilize that at all. Like, what the fuck is she majoring in, right? Like, it's not like she's not going to make any more money with that degree than she already is. So, like, I just don't, like, it's just name brand recognition, like university name recognition. It's like, oh, my daughter went to USC. Nobody cares. Like, nobody should care. Like, I think people do care too much to an extent, but, like, no, like, most people don't really give a shit, right? And most people that follow her daughter don't give a shit. They're just following her because maybe she posts, like, like, these model pics, and the followers, like, see the brand that she's promoting, and they're like, oh, okay, I want to look like her, so I'm going to buy this skincare product or this makeup, and then that's it. She's gonna make money. She's, I don't understand. Like, it's just not worth it from any side of the perspective. It's not worth it from USC's perspective, the admission people's perspective. $500,000 is just not a lot of money, right? You already having students pay a shit ton of money to go there, so, like, $500,000 more isn't really worth it. And, like, just from the perspective of the actress and the child, who I'm assuming didn't really know, she didn't really fully know the ramifications and whatnot, I mean, if she's, like, smart enough, I mean, obviously she's not smart enough because they had to pay money to get her in, but you would be, like, a little suspicious, you know that your GPA isn't very good, right? Like, you know that you don't have any qualifications and whatnot, outside of, I guess you could say that she's running, like, a business through the Instagram platform, but, like, outside of that, like, you would have to be intuitive to understand that, like, something's not really missing, or something's a little off, right? So, I don't know. I just don't. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around that kind of thing. It's probably just because I just don't have that level of wealth and level of fucking, like, ego, I guess. I don't know. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb. Just, you didn't have to do any of that, and you would have been fine. Like, your daughter would have been fine because she would have been making money regardless, right? You would have kept your job at whatever bullshit, stupid, like, remake of a TV show that you're on. Now you lose that job. Now you have to deal with, like, other shit. Like, you're gonna get barred from, like, Hollywood because, Hollywood doesn't want to be associated with you, even though there are plenty of actors who probably do the same exact shit, but they're like, oh, this is apprehensible. She doesn't really, represent us as a whole. Hollywood is so much better than that, hashtag me too and shit, right? So like I don't know, it's just such a ludicrous thing. Like I don't know. I mean, there are far more crazier things out there, but that in itself is just such a ridiculous like story. Like it just from my perspective, it's like I don't know. I just don't understand why you would go through with that. Like you don't really gain anything but trouble. For one, you're losing money first off because you're paying that kind of money. Like I don't know how much she's making. I heard that her father is, or not her father, Lori McLaughlin's husband is like a executive CEO for like, or CEO or like a business company manager for like some large clothing brand. So I mean that in itself, they have money, but like $500,000, just go buy, I don't know, go buy another house like in the Midwest so you can just sell it off later. Buy some rental property with that kind of money where you can actually accumulate some cash from it. Like you just don't gain anything from paying for a degree, right? Like especially, it sucks, but it's true, right? You're just losing out on money, and you can't, like, again, you can't claim deductions for your tax because it's suspicious. IRS, they know what the hell they're doing, right? They know how to pinpoint shit. They have their agents. They're gonna come after you, and you're screwed. It's just not. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Like I feel like some people just don't have that intuition where they're like, oh, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe they don't really take into account like the what is it? The structure, the story structure of how things go wrong. Just watch any TV show. Just watch Breaking Bad. Watch any of these shows, drama shows that deal with crime and shit. It never ends well for the main characters. It never ends well, So they just don't learn. They're in Hollywood. They're in TV. They see these things. And they just don't take into account that maybe this is a bad idea. I don't know. This is just from my perspective, I guess. Maybe it is worth it, right? Maybe it is worth it to go to USC instead of going to your community college, right? I don't know. Whatever. Or not even going to college at all. Pursuing your own trade and whatnot. Anyways, that's probably going to do it for today. Just a mini ramble on the whole college admissions scandal. Doesn't necessarily really apply to me, but I feel that this is just something that people should take into account, that there are people that sort of try to take advantage of a system, right? And it doesn't really work. Even if it doesn't work, it sometimes works, right? But it sometimes doesn't work because you're a complete dumbass. I don't know. That's going to do it for today. This has been Save the Semantics, signing off.